Top 10 GMMTV's Thai BL series of all time. GMMTV has been one of the companies that gives us BL series since the last 5 years, and almost all BL fans know this company. Just like any other fans, the first BL show that I have watched was produced by GMMTV and everything is history. Although GMMTV did not produce the very first BL ever, it's worth noting that this company also influences others to follow suit when it comes to producing BL shows. This time, I'll go over the list of BL series that GMMTV has produced and rank them according to my preference. Just a disclaimer, special episodes and side stories will not be included in this ranking. Anyway, if you live in a different country and some BL series are not available to yours, you can use ExpressVPN to watch those restricted series. Use the link on the description below to have 49% discount and 3 months free if you opt to avail the 12-month plan. Without further ado, let's get right into the video. Number 10. Waterboy. This BL was released on 2017 and had 14 episodes in total. Don't be confused with the movie version. Waterboy the series starred New and Earth as the BL couple in this show and also some straight couples in it. Although this BL wasn't special in any way, it was one of the very few that gave us joy when it was aired in 2017. Waterboy has a lot of characters in it, but I managed to like them all even if their stories wasn't BL after all. Since this show has multiple couples in it, you might find the whole story a little bit messy, but way back in 2017, I was not in position to complain because of lack of BL shows. The quality of BL series at that time was still developing, unlike today that we could pick whatever shows we want. To be honest, Earth New wasn't my favorite couple in this show, but it was Mond and Titan. Their chemistry was actually good, but I was left disappointed that the series didn't showcase their story. Overall, this BL is a good show for the starters but might fall short for some fans. Number 9. Sean Latte. This BL was only released in late last year and had a total of 10 episodes. For my first impression, it was actually a cute and funny BL drama and I wanted to watch it every Friday night. But as the series progressed, there were instances that I couldn't manage the homophobic remarks of Tonhan. Luckily, I was able to grasp until the ending because I realized Tonhan is a character full of flaws. There are also things that I didn't like about this BL, but it was minor issues if I were to be honest. For a 2020 BL, I guess it's not a full package one when it comes to the plot but more to the entertainment side. For now, I think this BL is suited on this ranking. Number 8. The Shipper. When this BL was announced and aired last year, I didn't pay attention into it because I was not sure whether it was a BL show. It was only when The Shipper was its 11th episode in which I started watching it. I easily got hooked with it because of the comedy elements in it and of course because of Om. I wasn't bothered at first about the BL story because I was enjoying watching the whole show, but then again, I felt incomplete when it ended. There was a thought in my head that I wanted to happen or even just a glimpse of it, but it never happened. The title was really true to its meaning because it only revolves around the story of the shipper and not those people who are being shipped. Nevertheless, The Shipper still managed to make me happy in spite of its shortcomings. Number 7. Together the series. This BL might not be the most polished one in terms of its plot, but it's one of the most iconic BL series ever. To think that a lot of people have watched this show, it's safe to say that it belongs to the list of most famous BLs ever released. Because of its fame, Together was praised by its fans but also criticized by some. Personally, I actually liked this BL a lot, not because of the handsome actors but because it was easy to watch. Together never had the most complicated story, that's why a lot of people could relate with it. Truth be told, the series had its flaws on some of the episodes and so are other BLs too. I still imagined the times when I was still watching this show and it still makes me happy even after a year since it's released. Number 6. XylonAkauMSTS the series. I am an avid fan of XylonAkauMSTS, but to think that I would put this series on the 6th spot is just insane. I actually never planned to include the second season of XylonAkauMSTS in this ranking, but since it has a different plot from the first one, I just put it in here. XylonAkauMSTS is more mature than the first season, but some people did not like this season compared to the original. I don't know their reasons, but it might probably because the first season was more interesting. Anyway, in this season, we could see the soft side of Arthit, which was the opposite in the season 1. XylonAkauMSTS actually focused more on the issues between a gay couple and the society. To be in a gay relationship was not an easy situation, especially for Arthit, because he was not an openly gay. He never let anyone aside from his friends about his relationship with Kong, and that was really a challenge for them. Arthit was also not a showy type of boyfriend to Kong, and I think that's understandable. Overall, XylonAkauMSTS is one of the best sequels for a Thai BL. Number 5. Dark Blue Kiss. I was actually having a debate with myself whether should I put this BL on the 6th or 5th spot. Dark Blue Kiss and XylonAkauMSTS are both close to my heart, but since this is a ranking, I had to decide which one is a little bit better. Just like XylonAkauMSTS, Dark Blue Kiss also has a plot that revolves on some issues with the society and gay relationship. But the thing that I liked in this show is how they showcase the relationship of Pete and Cow with their parents. Oftentimes, these kinds of topics are being left out in some BL shows, but in reality, this is one of the hardest part of being in a gay relationship. Although we can say that it's our lives and we could do anything we wanted, but we can't deny that the acceptance of our parents would still make us even better. Number 4. Theory of Love. Last year, I made a video of my most favorite Thai BL shows released from 2019 and early 2020, and Theory of Love was my number 1 on that video. The concept of unrequited love is not new anymore, but it feels the most realistic, especially for me. Being so much in love with the person that you don't have a chance to be with is hurtful to watch. Seeing Theory of Love for the first time wasn't a heartwarming experience because of the plot it had. Although I enjoyed the show because it was really interesting, the experience of Third was not fun to watch. The official soundtrack also added a depth of feeling into it. Nevertheless, the acting performance of the actors was really superb, that made the series a really good one. Number 3. He's Coming to Me. If there's something that I regretted, that would be not watching He's Coming to Me when it first aired back in 2019. I only watched this BL show last mid-2020, and I can say that it's one of the best stories I have ever seen. The tandem of Singto and Om really grew on me, and I think they deserve every compliment for their performance in this one. The soundtrack was also good, and I found myself listening to it countless times. If there's an issue with this BL, it's not rewatchable just like any other on this list because of being a mystery story. Well, that's only because of the genre it has and not because of the characters. The love story between a human and a ghost was unheard of in a Thai BL, and I know that might be weird, but it really delivered. He's Coming to Me is deserved to be known by a lot of fans. Number 2. XylonAkauMSTS the series. This BL was my first ever watched BL series, and I did not regret anything other than being addicted to these kinds of shows. Arthit was my very first crush among the Thai BL actors, and back then when I was still immature, I dreamt of finding my own Arthit. XylonAkauMSTS was my standard for a Thai BL, and it's really hard not to compare the recent releases to it because it is one of my favorites. Back then, BLs featuring engineering students were just a few, unlike in the last few years. The plot was interesting enough for me to watch it until the end, and I couldn't even move on even the series had already ended. In today's standards, this might not be the best anymore, but I would tell you that XylonAkauMSTS has already stood the test of time. Number 1. A Tale of Thousand Stars. Sotus might be my favorite TBL, but it's undeniable that A Tale of Thousand Stars has surpassed it in a lot of ways. This BL was literally 2 years in the making and it paid off. Everything about this show was lovable and memorable. Watching this felt like you were also part of the journey of the characters. The official soundtrack also added another layer of feeling with the series and it made the show even more heartfelt. Exactly a month since the last episode aired, I can say that it's one of the most enjoyable that I have seen. I just hope that GMMTV would produce another masterpiece for both Earth and Mix. This ranking is only according to my own preference, so be sure to include your own ranking in the comments section below. What is your most favorite TBL series produced by GMMTV? Thank you for watching. That's it and see you on the next one.